What's up, guys? Today is Monday. Today's the first day trading in March. A couple house cleaning things before we get started is if you have any questions about trading or any questions about stocks in general, you can now text one of our head mentors, Tosh, whose cell phone number is 213-458-5997. This is not like a spam or like a collect call or anything like that. You can text him, and he's actually the guy right there that's going to reply to you and kind of help you out. We want to kind of give you guys like a more personal approach if you have questions. So if you are new to trading or want to get into it or have any general questions, text Tosh. His number is going to be in the description. So if you've been living under a rock lately, you might not know that the coronavirus is what everyone is talking about today or this past week. The stock market is down thousands and thousands of points. Whereas some of these other stocks, like the coronavirus sector, companies like Lake that make protective bodysuits, and companies like APT that make protective masks are shooting up. Lake went from I think $5 to like $30 or $40. APT went from $5 to $50. And if you don't already know, these are what we call sector plays. So we have plenty of videos on this, but I just kind of want to give you a very quick recap of what a sector play is. So oftentimes, maybe once or twice a year, these are when these plays happen. Usually it happens when the media over exaggerates some sort of news. So let me kind of give you some examples of previous sector plays, right? So number one was the bodysuit, body cameras sector. This was when a lot of police officers were shooting civilians. There was news out that, these police stations or police officers were now buying body cameras for protection, just for kind of proof. So companies like DGLY and ISNS went parabolic. Another example is when everyone and their mom was talking about Bitcoin, stocks like stocks like GBTC, stocks like what else was there in the Bitcoin? I think it was RIOT was another one. They went parabolic and they came down. Again, another example is Ebola. When Ebola was kind of going crazy a couple of years back, stocks like Lake and APT were the ones that were running then. The other ones were shipper stocks, Dries, DCIX, and finally Plug and BLDP. So as you can see, I've been trading for about 5 or 6 sector plays already. So I've seen these patterns happen 5 or 6 times over 6 years of trading. So essentially, it's like one of these a year that you get. And being able to see them over and over again gives you an edge, right? Gives you an edge. So what I do is I always bat for singles, right? I show up to the market and I try to make $1,000 a day consistently. Sometimes I make more, sometimes I make less. But what I'm basically doing is I'm practicing my layups, right? I am practicing my trades. Although these are real trades that are being executed real time, they are very small size to just get my feet wet, to make a daily paycheck. So that when these special opportunities come, when these sector plays come, when these news driven events happen, that I am fully in practice and I am fully prepared to be able to take advantage of this. So let me give you an example. Whenever I see these sector plays happen, I've actually recognized something really important about it. I talked about it in my Trader Clinic webinar for lifetime members, but something very important to recognize is the first red day setup. And I'm not going to talk too much about that. It's a big fucking secret, and I don't want to kind of expose it too much, but we have plenty of videos on this. So I was kind of telling the members that the easiest trades on these sector plays happen when the stocks go red. So if you pull up a chart of APT from Friday, what you could notice is that the stock had some support at $33, and I think 25 was the level that I was going to go red. So I mentioned to the guys in the room that, hey, if 33 breaks, I want to be shorting this, and then when it goes red, I want to size into it. So if you notice, the easiest trades of the day on those stocks like Lake and APT and CODX were when they went red on the day on Friday. So knowing that I've traded through 5 or 6 different sector plays in the past, knowing that they all end up the same way after they break down, I felt more comfortable using more size on these setups. So again, every single day, I am trading and trading and trying to make a little bit of money every single day to stay in practice. I am practicing my free throw over and over again in the gym, over and over again, so that when the fucking championship game happens, when the playoff game happens, I am fully trained and fully prepared to attack. Friday and today were the playoffs. Friday and today were the Super Bowl, right? We get maybe one Super Bowl a year, right? It only happens once a year. Sometimes it happens two times, whatever. Not in the Super Bowl world, but in the trading world. So recognizing that we were in a sector, coronavirus, what I want to do is make sure that when these stocks turned, that I was there with size to be able to capitalize on it because these are the type of trades that can make your entire year in a week, right? So let's kind of start off with what's been happening in my mentality, what's been happening in my world of trading, so you guys can understand what I was kind of going through, right? So February started off as an incredible month for me. I made $100,000 shorting Tesla, right, on the first red day. So, number one, I already felt cocky. I already felt egotistical. I already felt like I was the king of the world in the beginning of the month because I nailed a six-figure winner, right? Here I am, maybe a week later, finding myself struggling. I'm not struggling P&L wise, I'm struggling mentality wise. I feel myself getting greedy. I feel myself overstaying. I feel myself wanting more and more and more money. Whereas when I first started, or when I started the month, I started off by just taking my singles and walking away, by nail and bailing. But after the Tesla trade, I found myself being greedy. I wanted more money. I wanted more. Suddenly, $1,000 a day was not enough for me. Suddenly, $5,000 a day was not enough for me. Suddenly, $10,000 a day was not enough for me. And that hurt my mentality. I found myself being up massive on the day and ending up giving a portion of my profits back because I was greedy. That made me really upset. There's not many things that get me upset in the world of trading. Number one is missed opportunity, and number two is breaking rules. So I felt like I was breaking my rules after the Tesla trade. I felt like I was trading too big. I felt like I was trading with my balls rather than my brain. And I was kind of upset, right? So here's the truth about trading that no one ever tells you. After the Tesla trade, when I should have been so happy making 100 grand, I was actually upset because I felt like I was breaking my process after that. I felt like I was not trading the way that got me there in the first place. So I was going through a mental struggle. I was a little bit depressed. I know it's gonna sound so stupid. It's gonna sound so stupid. How can you be depressed after you make 100 grand? It's because I know that after I made that money, the trading days after that were not optimal for me. And that's what made me upset. It made me upset that I was starting to create a bad habit of getting too greedy. Money wasn't enough for me. I was not comfortable taking the small wins. So when these coronavirus stocks came and they started going crazy, you know what? I just put myself in the back seat. I told myself, hey, you know what these stocks are going to do. You know how the sector is going to end up. All you have to do is simplify it to the dumbest thing, which is wait for the first red day, right? If I just dumbed it down to the point where a complete noob could trade these stocks, those are where the best trades came from, right? So I told myself, wait for the first red day, wait for the first red day, wait for the first red day. So let me talk about what happened after that. So on Thursday, the day before they crashed, I had some personal stuff I had to deal with. I had some like family things I don't really want to talk about that I was kind of going through on Thursday, and it made me really upset. And I was not trading. Right? I was not trading. I found myself being so emotional in the morning, and I told myself, you know what? I've been down this road before. What I should do is take the day off. So I took the day off on Thursday, fully anticipating that that was going to be the day that the stocks crashed. But I decided to choose kind of taking care of my mental health first rather than trading. So I was kind of upset all day. I had some family stuff I had to deal with. I felt like all the stocks were going to crash. So I walked away from trading on Thursday, right? And what ended up happening is these stocks squeezed like crazy. I know for a fact, 100% fact, that had I been trading emotionally on Thursday, I would have lost money. And if I lost money on Thursday, I would probably trade it poorly on Friday. So call it fate, call it being self-aware. Taking off on Thursday was the best thing that I could have done because it allowed me to be ready to attack on Friday. So let's talk about Friday, what happened. So it was like 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. and Bao was not around. So when my tab is not around, my next closest tab is usually James if Tosh is not awake yet. So I called James on the phone. I was like, hey man, like I'm having trouble with FOMO. Can you just like stay on the phone with me? Like, let's just talk out a plan. Like, let's go through it. And before I knew it, me and James were on the phone for fucking 8 hours. We spoke through the entire APT and Lake trade. He had his biggest day ever, right? I think he made, I think a little less than 10 grand or something insane, right? He had his biggest day ever, and we were talking about it the entire time. What we were trying to do is trying to keep ourselves at 30% size on the front side of the move, just in case the stock was not going to tank today, just in case things were going to go wrong. So what I ended up doing is, again, when APT broke 33, I took a starter, and as it went red, I added to my winner, and I covered at like 17 or 18, made a bunch of money. Lake was a little bit different because when I saw CODX and APT going down, I just blindly hit the bids on Lake. I hit the bids at like 26 or $27 as the stock was breaking down because Lake was a sympathy play. So if you don't already know, there's the main head of the snakes, which is CODX and APT, and these sympathy plays like LAKE, VXRT, IBIO, stuff like that. So me personally, I make more money shorting the sympathy plays, but I also have a little piece in the head of the snake because I'm a little bit more trained and I've been doing this for a little bit longer, so I feel more comfortable doing that stuff. So as soon as the main head of the snake, CODX and APT tanked, I shorted the sympathy play Lake at $27. I'm pretty sure I only shorted like 2 or 3,000 shares at $27, and it ended up going down $10 a share. And that's how I made most of my money on that setup. So yeah, it was great. I made 50 grand on Friday. And now here's what I was kind of doing next, right? So after I make that much money, what am I doing next? Next is I'm thinking about it over the weekend. I'm saying, please gap up, please gap up. These are low hanging fruits. These are low hanging fruits. So if you don't know what a low hanging fruit setup is that is when a stock goes tanks, right? Tanks, and then has like a dead cat bounce the next day, and we shorted into that dead cat bounce. So today, all of these coronavirus stocks were low hanging fruits. It's been a very long time since we've had a low hanging fruit setup show up. It's because the market has been a little bit slower. But when they all showed up today, you had stuff like Codex bouncing to 21. You had stuff like APT bouncing to 27. And I'm over here licking my chops, getting so excited because I know these stocks are broken. The way that they were trading on Friday, they were broken. So any pop today was a short opportunity. So coming into the morning, I don't like to short too much pre-market, but when Codex went under VWAP pre-market, I think it was like shit, man. It was like 18 or $19. I can't really remember. I have my chart posted in MIC. If anyone could pull up my chart and let me know, I'll like talk about it here. But I shorted some pre-market, and I think I made like $3 or $4 a share on it because my plan was to short it pre-market under VWAP when it confirmed weakness, and right at the open when the market panicked, when all these longs market sold at the open, I would cover my position and wait for the bounce to short. I covered my position on all these stocks, and they didn't even fucking bounce to short, right? So here I am on a low-hanging fruit setup, making another $40,000. So in about 2 days, Friday and Saturday combined, I made $90,000, right? On top of the already 100,000 that I made on Tesla. So I think in about a month's time, I made about $200,000, which is fantastic and it's great and I'm happy about it. Don't get me wrong, but like now, what am I doing to protect myself from what happened from Tesla earlier? What am I doing to protect myself in case I break process? So let me tell you a couple things that I did. Number one, I wired out $90,000 out of my brokerage account. So all the profits I made on these things, I wired it out of my brokerage account. The reason why I did this is so that I don't see a large balance in my equity and start to get sloppy. For me personally, I like to keep my accounts smaller because if I have more money in the accounts, I am more tempted and more loose with risk. So let me give you an example. If you have a $1 million account and you are down $100,000, that's only 10%. You're like, fuck that, right? Fuck that. But if you have a $200,000 account and you're down 100,000, that's 50% of your account. And you're like, no way, I can't fucking do that. So I purposely keep my accounts very, very small so that in the case that I do something wrong, I see a larger number compared to my equity and makes me stop out and obey my risk quicker. Because the more money you have in your brokerage account, the more loose you get because you're just like, oh, I'm up on the week. I'm up on the month. I'm up on the year. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? So, number one is I wired out $90,000, $100,000, whatever the fuck was $90,000 out of my brokerage account. Number two is I lowered my max risk on my account. So I give myself 10,000. Do you guys still hear me? I give myself $10,000 max loss on my account. And I recently just changed it to $5,000. Why? To protect myself. I usually give myself a max size of 10,000 shares on my account. I reduced it to 2,000 shares. Why? So that as I'm kind of getting back into the swing of things, as I'm kind of getting back to proper process and clearing my head, I am staying small so that I could focus on the process and not the P&L. So I wired out the money, I dropped my max risk on the account, and I dropped my max size. And as I kind of get back into the swing of things, I will increase my size. But for me, 2,000 shares is essentially nothing. I am used to trading 10,000 shares, sometimes even 100,000 shares. But these are the things that I am doing to protect myself from getting cocky, to protect myself from saying, hey, I made fucking $200,000 in a month. Let's go fucking gamble it all away, right? So these are the steps that I am taking as a professional trader, a professional athlete, to make sure that I don't fuck up, right? To make sure that I am sticking to proper process. So my wire is going to go out today. My max size is already adjusted. I cut my buying power for the day. So tomorrow I'm back to having a smaller account. I wired it down to, I think it was like $50,000 account with 2,000 shares max size and 5,000 shares max risk, right? So that's kind of what I'm doing. So these are the steps that I'm taking, guys. Again, whenever we get a sector play, right? Again, it's maybe once a year or twice a year. If you are trading now and you saw how these sector plays reacted and you did not make money, no problem. No problem. Recognize that I've seen 6 sector plays. So now I know how to trade it, right? I've been trading for 6 years and now I see it, right? So if you guys understand how these stocks are going on this sector play, write it down, journal it, understand it so that when the next sector play comes, God knows what it's going to be. No one fucking knows what it's going to be. It could be as simple as there's hype on sneakers and all these sneaker manufacturers are going up. Who knows, right? Who knows? The point is that when they come again, which they will 100% come again, that you know how to trade them. You understand the first red day. You understand how to manage your risk. You understand what to do because I promise you, if you learned how to trade these stocks in this sector, the same shit is going to happen over and over again. Like trading patterns, guys, pattern recognition. I saw the forklift sector, the shipping sector, Ebola sector, body camera sector, Bitcoin sector, coronavirus sector. I've seen it all. And because I have the experience, I am now trying to pass that on to you so that you guys understand what I'm doing. These numbers are not to show off. I could give a shit less about the numbers. If anyone knows me, they know I live a very humble lifestyle. I don't really spend that much money, but it's to show you and prove to you that with proper process and with proper education, and if you see these things happen over and over again, man, there's so much money to be made, right? So does that all make sense to you guys? Can you leave a like? I see the like counter if it goes up. But does this all make sense to you guys? Am I being clear? I'm trying to make these videos for you guys and for myself to recap. Do you guys have any questions? I'm going to stop there. Do you guys have any questions for now? And if you don't think these trades are real, I'm going to get a confirmation from my broker either today or tomorrow with a signed document proving that it's all real. How are you zero in on the right stocks in correlation to the head of snake on sector plays? I don't really understand that. Can you rephrase that? How do you trade the first red day? We have a bunch of videos on this in the MIC library and free videos on this in YouTube. With your hand, what does your monthly equity curve look like? Fucking rocket ship. So let me kind of explain to you what happens next, right? What happens next? I like to reward myself, right? I like to reward myself after I trade well. I bought an AP watch when I gave my first speech in Vegas. I bought a Cartier love bracelet when I had one of my best record months in January a couple of years ago. And now I always want, because what I like to do is I like to only spoil myself with good memories so that anytime I look at my material things, that it reminds me of something good. So now that I pulled out 90,000 from fucking all these sector plays, I think it's time to get myself something nice. And again, this is not all to show off. This is not because I don't give a shit what you guys think about me. This is all just for me to remind myself about all my progress that I made. it's kind of like a trophy. So that's kind of, I'm gonna try to figure something out. But yeah, guys, I mean, I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful. I am very thankful. But at the end of the day, it took me years and years and years to get to this point. Let me get back to some of these questions. What am I looking for tomorrow? I'm looking for these stocks to bounce up again so I can short them again. I pray that they fucking bounce. How do you find the right stocks to correlate like Lake and APT in a situation? So usually what happens is the stock that has the most amount of volume and the stock that runs up the most is usually the head of the snake, where something like Lake is a lot weaker. And that's kind of my go-to sympathy play. What age did you have your first profitable year? Maybe 21, 20? Yeah. He posts all his trades. He literally takes you by the hand and guides you. Yeah, man, that's what people don't understand. People think that the fastest way to make money in the stock market is to follow email alerts, voice alerts, text message alerts, and fucking Forex signals. But they don't fucking realize that that is the fastest way to lose money. So at MIC, we actually teach you the proper process. How do you consider level two with your fancy orders? I've talked about this 1,000 times and I will talk about it again. Level two, the technical analysis is your holy grail. Stocks conform to the chart. The way that you use level two is when the stock is getting to, let's say, a $2.50 resistance level, you look at the level two to see if there's $2.50 worth of sellers, if there's sellers at that level as well. If there are sellers on the level two confirming your resistance line, then that's how you use level two to your advantage. But level two is more advanced. If you just focus on the chart, you should be fine. What about scalping crypto? Bro, I'm telling you, we have a winning strategy with stocks. And you're still fucking talking about crypto. Next thing you're going to ask me is fucking Forex signals. Guys, there's no fucking, forget the bullshit crypto, forget the bullshit Forex. We made money shorting the crypto stocks, IGC and MBEV. I made $250,000 in 2 days shorting those stocks on that sector play. Do you guys have any questions for me? I want to open this up to Q&A. Again, guys, we show you our trades every fucking day. When is the live trading DVD coming out? Oh, yeah. So for those that don't know, I am working on recording a bunch of my live trades and compiling a live trading DVD for free for annual and lifetime members. This is actually a lot harder than I was expecting. I'm still recording my trades every single day and trying to pick ones that I think will educate you guys the most, showing you guys wins, showing you guys losses. So it's actually going to take a little bit longer than I expected, maybe a couple months. Where do I find my sympathy plays? So it depends. Most of the time, when these stocks are moving, there's just hype on Twitter. There's people talking about it. Last time APT ran, Lake was running, so it was kind of the same thing like that. Best advice for sizing up and dealing with bigger swings. You recommend going up very slowly? Yeah, man. So let me actually talk about this. So sizing is an art, not a science. Sizing is very difficult. Oftentimes, what I tell people is this. I tell people you actually make more money using less size because you are able to be more patient and you are less emotional in these stocks. So for me, what I would kind of recommend is be consistent with the same size for about a month, and then you could slowly scale it up. So if you're trading 1,000 shares and you are consistent with that and you are making money with that, go up to 1,200 shares max size the next month, and then go to 1,400 shares the max size next month. And before you know it, in a couple months, you'll be at a couple thousand shares. And the point is, the reason why you do it slowly is because you ease yourself into it. What people don't realize is when you size up, oftentimes there are mental struggles that go up with it. If you are so used to losing $500, $500, $500 a day, the day that you size up and lose $1,000, it's almost double. Hello, how are you doing? It's you double. Fuck, I lost my train of thought. As you size up, as you size up, you are going to lose more and more money before you make more money. That's just the way it works. So before you feel like you have to size up and you want your days to go from $500 a day to $1,000 a day, recognize that you also have to be okay losing $1,000 a day, right? So my advice is build your bankroll first, have some money in the bank just in case things go wrong when you size up, and then slowly get yourself up every single month. For me personally, these days, I've traded from 100 shares to 100,000 shares. And what I've learned is my sweet spot personally is around 10,000 shares. And that's because that's what makes me the least amount of stress. That's what kind of keeps me sane. Anything more than 10, 20, 30,000 shares, I kind of get the fucking sweats again. I don't want to fucking lose 30, 40, $50,000 a day again to make back that money. Question about brokers. The best brokerage that I use, the only brokerage that I use for shorting is Cobra Trading. They had all the borrows today. They had all the borrows on Friday, and they were dirt fucking cheap. And MIC members get 25% off commissions, which essentially makes your MIC membership free. All right, guys. So I'm going to take a couple more questions, and then I think I'm going to wrap it up. Are these videos adding value for you guys? Because I want to make these videos so that they help you. Is there anything that I could do better? Is there anything that you guys want to see? What can I do to make these videos better for you? Because yes, I use these videos to review my trading at night before bed at 10 o'clock before I go to sleep. I put on one of my videos because to watch myself, what is it called? To watch footage of myself like a professional athlete to see how I could improve. So do you guys have any advice so that I can make these videos better for you? I am giving out all the secrets. The secret is that 90% don't fucking listen. Awesome. And also, for those of you guys that are not in MIC, what can we do to bring you over the fence? We show you our daily watch list. We show you our daily process. We show you our charts. We show you testimonials. We show you P&L. The only thing we don't show you is fucking Forex signals. So what else can we do to help convince you that you need MIC in your life? For the people that are in MIC, what do you guys think of it so that other people can see? And as you guys know, none of these things are fucking paid or whatever the fuck it is. Time for a haircut, no? As I make my way back home, guys, I just want to say thank you for watching this video. I know the people that watch these videos are the ones that are going to be successful. I appreciate all the kind words when I was dealing with my family things on Thursday. And I just want to show you guys and be transparent with you that it was not easy. Trading is not fucking easy, man. It's not easy, but I promise you that if I could do it, some fucking gypsy that used to work at Starbucks, that's not the fucking smartest guy in the room, I promise you that you could do it. Bao is fucking drunk and he parties and he's still able to do it. The point is, guys, you don't have to be a fucking PhD fucking genius for this shit. I promise you, if you just put in the work, you will be rewarded. I promise you. And the members in MIC could vouch for that. So thank you guys for watching. I am excited to go spend money on something I don't fucking excited to go spend money on a depreciating asset. So thanks, guys.